Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a full back massage for the lovely Sophia. Let's go ahead and get started. So whenever I am doing a shoulder arm focus massage, I like to start with some compressive work on the back no matter what, and I'll usually just place my hands and start nice and slow. I really feel like just placing your hands and helping your client settle into the table is really good to do to start. Do a bit of a scan with your palms and finger pads. You have so much sensitivity. You can pick up on imbalances from left to right and how these tight shoulders might be affecting different areas of the body. This is a really nice place to do dry work as well, just because you're so well positioned to do some compressive work with the heels of your hands around the shoulder bones. And this is the highest area of tension that you're going to find on the body. You're going to find trigger points here most of the time, no matter who you're working on. I find that if you can get a proper release in the upper trap, you can just have an easier time with the infraspinatus and the bicep tendon if you want to work on that. It doesn't have to be fancy, just being present with what you're doing. Right now I'm also just giving Sophia a roadmap of what we're going to be doing. So even if I'm not really affecting the muscle that much at this point, she at least knows what we're going to be working on, and the muscle can kind of get a little more familiar with having that pressure on it. And the infraspinatus is one muscle that can be ignored often, and it's a little bit surprised when you start to actually get in there. Working on the levator scap on someone that doesn't like deep tissue is a little bit tricky because it's a deep tissue and it's a little harder to access, but I will just kind of test the waters and place my thumbs. I really enjoy using my thumbs on people that prefer a more moderate touch, because I'm not loading my thumb joints, and you can offer a really nice detailed pressure without trying too hard. This might be all that I'll do for the levator scap. Just kind of depends on how things go the rest of our massage. On someone that wants deep tissue, would be using my elbow eventually on this area. You can even walk these thumbs, do these compressive holds with a little more detail. Again, I'm not overloading my thumb joints. I'm going to go ahead and grab my oil. Most of the time I like to do a few effleurette strokes down the back, but I do want to make sure that the oil is where I'm going to need it the most. So as much as possible, you want to keep the oil out of the hair, just because it's going to be a lot more pleasant for your client. You don't have to be perfect. Especially when I'm doing the shoulder arm work, I do like to include a little something for the upper trap as it narrows into the neck. It's just a much fuller release of the shoulder area. I've had massages before where having that super detailed work where the time is spent in just one area can be really powerful. It's also nice to just broaden the focus and help your client become more in touch with how connected everything is. And as I do these effleurage strokes, I'm starting to include the arms more, especially the deltoids. Whenever I work on the infraspinatus, I like to do a little something for the deltoids, even if it's just soft tissue work. You can do something as simple as just little circles, working that soft tissue. The deltoids are a little closed off here, so you could open up the arm, but I'm not going to focus too much on the deltoids right now. Might need to grab a little more oil. So that oil is nicely placed where I'm going to want it the most. It's always okay to grab a little more if you need it. Because I'm more technically focused today, I'm using less oil. I find that doing a few effleurage strokes along the whole back just helps your client to relax a little more and also be more whole body focused. Sometimes I'll just kind of inch my way down, really lingering on this upper back area, ending with a longer effleurage stroke along the spine. And you can decide at this point if you want to do the arm first, or you can do the work in the upper trap and rotator cuff muscles first. Sometimes finishing with the arm can kind of feel really nice, but no right or wrong. No matter what, you want to be budgeting your time well. So if I don't have a whole lot of time for the upper traps, I might just stay on the front side of the table instead of going to side, which is going to take more time, because you have a great angle here to work on these upper traps without moving. Just tracing the scapulas, the shoulder bones. Lengthening this muscle. Getting rid of some of that stickiness. There's something that feels so nice about working on the rhomboids a little bit after that deeper work in the upper traps. Can even do little circles. I do like to do that little effleurage stroke up into the upper trap as it moves into the neck. And you also have to think about like flow. So I think I'm actually going to do the arm first, then move into these rotator cuff muscles. So I'm in a nice position where I can just move to the side, and I'm probably going to have to grab a little more oil for this arm. Not doing anything too technical with the arm, just doing what I can to offer something that feels really nice and that is also going to help the infraspinatus soften, hopefully. You do have to anchor the arm just so it's not, the shoulder's not being pushed up by the ear. The goal is for Sophia to be able to just totally relax into her experience, not feel like she has to hold her arm up. At this point, you can decide how much you want to do for this deltoid, so you can just open up that shoulder a little more if you want to get in there a little more, which is a good idea when you're going to work on the infraspinatus. I'm more focused on the soft tissue than anything, just getting some really nice movement in here. This is a really nice position to get into those triceps a little bit, and you can even work your way all the way into the teres minor and major. I'm doing just a simple wrap around, not doing anything too technical for the teres muscles yet. But this is the arm position that I'm going to want for these rotator cuff muscles. But for now, I'm just going to bring this arm back, and I'm going to work on the extensor and flexor muscles briefly. Working on the extensor muscles can just help this whole area relax indirectly, that infraspinatus. Anytime that you're typing or doing anything with your hands, your rotator cuff muscles are, at least your infraspinatus is engaged, working. Not necessarily hard, but always working. Just fleshing out these extensor muscles a little bit and getting into these flexor muscles as well. Because I really wanted to work on these flexor muscles, extensor muscles in more detail, I would want to change position of the arm. But again, it's all about like budgeting your time and deciding what's most important. It can feel really nice to just do a little something for the hand. We're moving on. Can help the whole arm relax when you work on the hand. I've always thought like the clearest giveaway that you're not really present is when you like skip a finger. So even when you're doing something simple like this, just offering your client your full attention. One of my favorite things that just feels really nice is to grab hold of that arm and just slide your hands down. And I'm I'm gonna go ahead and start working on these rotator cuff muscles. I usually like to start with that bigger, thicker infraspinatus and then work my way into these smaller rotator cuff muscles. And just keeping in mind that Sophia doesn't like really deep tissue, so trying to find a balance of working through the tension, staying in her comfort zone. And don't expect to spend 30 seconds here and accomplish very much. It usually takes a little while for that infraspinatus to accept being worked on and really let go. And as I start to become more familiar with the adhesions in here, I just might linger a little bit longer. I'm not necessarily going to use a ton more pressure. And one option here too, if you're working on someone that really doesn't like deep tissue, you can kind of just transition back and forth. So you can work on these teres minor and major. Do some compressive holds in here. Kind of offering that variation can make everything feel a little more tolerable. This can give the whole shoulder a real sense of freedom. You get some nice releases in here. It's really nice if you can bring some of that pressure into the lats after that teres minor and major work. It doesn't have to be much. And I'm gonna land on this infraspinatus just one last time. I'm not quite holding static, but just moving really slow into this muscle. It can feel nice to just offer a little bit more to that deltoid after that work on the infraspinatus. You can even wrap your fingers around, get into that shoulder joint a little bit, just flush some of that out. Any tension in there. And even here, I'm just making sure that Sophia's arm is nice and stable. Pressing with my left hand. I like to just glide my hands around the deltoid and include that upper trap. A long effleurage stroke or two to finish. Especially after doing more technical work, more locally focused work, it can feel really nice to just do some effleurage to finish. You can do a few extra strokes across above the shoulder bones Just making nice with those rotator cuff muscles. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's video, you should check out our Patreon page where you'll find some really great exclusive content as well. I look forward to seeing you there.